I'm putting the finishing touches on a Chirp driver for the Radioddity GM30. I really like this radio. It's pretty affordable. It's a nice size. And it also supports weather band and amateur band on the receive side. For transmit, you're going to be limited to GMRS. This is an FCC certified radio. So as we'll see, there's restrictions built into the firmware of this radio that cannot be bypassed. This is the default build here, or radio image for this radio. This is their Radioddity CPS software. And you can start to see some of the restrictions here that are built into the radio that they've added into their software. For instance, your channels 8 through 14, which, if I'm not mistaken, are the old FRS channels, are all set to low power. You cannot change that. Your non-repeater channels, your 1 through 22, are locked in to the corresponding frequency or channel number that's designated. You cannot change that. Your repeaters 1 through 8 are the standard repeater channels, and again, you cannot change these. So if you have a local repeater, let's say on 4626000, you can go in here, you can give it a new name, and you can set up your tones and everything. But in this, channel 25 will always be 4626000. Where you can have a little bit of change is in this DIY section, and they give you 24 of these. And what you can do is change the repeater frequency to whatever you have near you. So let's say you just have a whole bunch of repeaters all on the same frequency. At least you can change it here. Your TX, you're not going to have control over, because this has to be the standard 5 megahertz offset. But again, you can set up tones and whatnot. And you can even change power and some of these other settings. Pretty standard stuff. As far as settings goes, pretty standard stuff. DTMF support, your 2 VFOs, and 250 channels you get. So what you can do on these other channels, you can't have any repeaters down here, 55 on the 250, but you can put in, amateur radio stuff. If you want to monitor amateur radio channels, you can do that. You cannot transmit on any of these channels, 55 to 250. So yes, this radio does kind of feel locked down compared to maybe some other radios, but it really is built as a GMRS radio, and for that job, I think it does well. So let's download. This has not been pushed into Chirp yet as of this video, still in development, but pretty close. I'm hoping to push this out within a short period of time. So to save people some headache, I've implemented in Chirp the same restrictions that the radio has, right? So that you're not wasting time, I guess, trying to change these frequencies and then realizing that you can't. So this stuff is locked down. The same it would be in the CPS. Again, you can put in your VHF stuff as a receive only, but it will be receive only. You won't be able to add an offset, and you won't be able to set a transmit frequency on this stuff. All the way at the bottom is where I put the VFOs. So you can edit these if you want. Make it a little easier just to manage these. That's all the way at the bottom of the list. I've also implemented all of the settings. You can change your boot message and your squelch level. There's display mode here and all the common stuff. So got the voice alert, turn that off. I don't care for it. This is where it talks to you and tells you what button you pressed on the keypad. Also beep tone I like to turn off. That's where every button you press on the radio face, it beeps to acknowledge. Some people like that, some people don't. And the infamous feature that really shows you're a noob to the hobby is to turn on Roger beep so that every time you transmit, you send a tone when you release the PTT. So feel free to turn that on if you like that sort of thing. All the DTMF is here. If you do use that, it's implemented. The only thing I did not implement is the protection features. So what you would typically do, you can do this in the CPS. You can set a write password and you can set a read password, and that's set on the radio. And then if these are set, you will not be able to read or write to the radio with Chirp, because there really isn't a good way in Chirp right now for me to handle prompting somebody for a password during the upload or download of the radio. For me to put something to try and make this work, it would be kind of hacky. And that's not something I want to do, especially if I could end up locking somebody out of a radio. What you can do, though, I will show you what's in the read or write password fields. So if you come across a radio that somebody has set a password on and you're not sure what it is, Chirp will at least show you what that is. And then you can use the CPS to enter the password and remove it. That's pretty much it. It's a fairly simple radio, but I think it's going to be nice to have it in Chirp. I always prefer Chirp for programming my radios. That's about it. Thanks, guys.